What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing the most requested full evolution line that got buffed this season, the Electabuzz line, which got 6 buffs in total, with all 3 of these Pokemon having Thunder Shock, Elekid and Electabuzz having Thunder Punch, and Electivire having Ice Punch. Now I was intending to make this my first video of the season, but I realized a few days ago that it's actually possible to get a purified Electabuzz in the Great League if it has really awful IVs. For anyone that doesn't know, when you purify a Pokemon, it shoots all the way up to level 25, and at that level, you need a really poor IV Pokemon for it to stay below 1500 CP. So over the past few days, I've been grinding Team Rockets and doing very low friendship level trades to hopefully obtain one, but unfortunately, I've not been able to encounter a single one from the Electric Grunt, and all my trades have not gone low enough. So in the end, I settled for the regular one, which has unfortunately 0 coverage, that isn't electric type damage, and it technically does sim better because return doesn't actually flip any bad matchups, but I have to say the amount of times that I just got completely walled by a ground or a grass type was incredibly painful. Now this is going to be a shorter video because it is just very difficult to get wins with this team, but if you do enjoy this content, I have another video featuring a different full evolution line that got buffed this season, which includes a level 50 Shundo Pokemon, which was equally as difficult to get wins with. So if you want to see that video, please make sure you leave a like on this video. And with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. Which Pokemon do you think benefits the most from the buff to the elemental punches? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Let's go into the first battle, leading Elekid into Abomasnow. So not the worst thing ever. Of course, they are going to resist the electric type damage, but we do have Brick Break for coverage. Unfortunately, Brick Break not going to do much damage here, and the opponent does no shield the first one. That's super effective, but it just really does not do much damage whatsoever. We're going to shield that up there, and then we're now going to go for another Brick Break, and at this point, this probably will grab a shield. It won't quite get the KO here, but we of course have debuffed their defense. Now they're double debuffed. At this point, we can let the Elekid go down. Actually, a Weather Ball doesn't quite take us out there, so I'm going to swap into my Electabuzz. There's no point throwing straight away, as I'm still not certain a Thunder Punch would get the KO, but I'm going to farm up 2 back-to-back charge moves, finally throw a Thunder Punch, and at this point we will be able to take out the Abomasnow, or the opponent's going to use their final shield. They are clearly weak to the electric typing in the back, so we go for another Thunder Punch, getting the KO, and they come in with a Lantern. Now we are going to commit to the Thunderbolt. We do just barely get there in time before we get sparked down. Thunderbolt does some decent damage. We're now going to come in with the Electivire. I'm going to go for 3 Thunder Shocks and then just randomly swap. I'm able to make the catch onto my Elekid. That is very nice for me. Surf gets the KO. Again, not going to throw straight away here. I could go for that Wild Charge immediately, but I'm not certain what is in the back. So instead, I'm going to overfarm massively, and the opponent reveals their final Pokemon to be a Poliwrath. And unfortunately for them, Wild Charge gets the one shot. We've got another Wild Charge already loaded, and they're in range where I don't have to hit a single bubble. Wild Charge takes out the Lantern, and I'm able to take that game. So GG top home there into next battle, Electabuzz into Diggersby's. Now the first couple battles I did with this team, unfortunately I was running Electabuzz in the lead, but then I just realized, like, if we do come up against like a ground type Pokemon or a grass or a dragon type Pokemon, I have to just swap out. And unfortunately this opponent is running double ground tanky Pokemon with Diggersby and Stunfisk. Is not looking good for us at all, but they don't farm up to the potential Earthquake. I should just barely have a Rock Slide. We do hang on. I'm able to make it to another Brick Break, and honestly, hopefully they just let us go through, and they actually do. So at this point, not the worst thing ever. Of course, they've not used a shield yet, but they're double debuffed, so I'm actually going to be able to take them out with just electric type damage, since the opponent, again, not farming up to the Earthquake, just going for a Rock Slide. I'm not certain Thunder Punch is going to get the KO though, so I do throw a Thunderbolt on the CMP tie. Thunderbolt is going to get the KO, and the opponent comes in. They throw straight away with the Diggersby. At this point, we have to just let it go down. Going to come in with the Electivire, and of course, we do have Ice Punch for coverage. It's going to hit for super effective damage, but I just don't think, even with that buff this season, it will get a KO up against the Diggersby. But of course, going to grab the shields anyways, and the opponent is going to go for the Scorching Sands. Scorching Sands does not get debuff, but they swap into Azumarill, and this is actually a smart play from the opponent, basically forcing me to full send the Wild Charge. Wild Charge gets the one shot, but now we're debuffed. I am not quite going to make it to back-to-back Ice Punches. So unfortunately, whilst I wasn't sure if an Ice Punch would get the KO, I will never find out because they do quick attack, farm me down, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG to opponent there. Into next battle, going to see a Crustle in the lead. Looked like they were lagging initially, but I think that was just visual lag. I'm going to go for a break here just because I'm thinking maybe we'll grab a shield here. Elekid, I'm sure like no one has ever battled against it, so they might not know the moveset or the stat product here, so maybe they think it's a lot glassier than we actually are. But either way, we now go for Thunder Punch, and that does big damage after we debuff their defense. So using a shield, I am able to maintain switch advantage, although it doesn't really help me all that much. We've got 3 of the same Pokemon essentially, although I do have Electabuzz, which has 0 coverage, which wasn't very fun to run, I will say, even though technically it did sim better with Thunderbolt, because I guess as a neutral move, it's just better in a lot of situations than going for a return, which does cost a little bit more energy. I will say just not having any coverage just made it so awful to play. Either way, I'm going to sacrifice it here as we're going to go and come in with the Electivire, but because I've debuffed their defense, this is where the Thunder Shock doing more damage is actually going to help us, because I might be able to go for a full Thunder Shock farm down. Now the opponent goes for a Body Slam there. We're going to come back in with the Electivire. I think I will be able to commit to a full Thunder Shock farm down. It's going to be close, but they actually go for the Trailblaze. I think if they went for Body Slam, maybe they would have reached it, but they now come in with a Drift Limb, and for whatever reason, I go for an Ice Punch. That is such an unnecessary bait, but we grab the final shield anyways, and now we can full send the Wild Charge, get in the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to opponent there. Into next battle, Superior in the lead. So another battle that I did pretty early on with this team. And yeah, unfortunately, Electabuzz just can't do anything, so I'm forced to swap into my Elekid, and Elekid's not going to do much better here. Brick Break's a really, really bad move, but I'm hoping that maybe we can grab a shield. At this point, we don't grab the shield there, unfortunately. The next Brick Break going to do slightly more damage, but it's not going to allow us to like Thunder Shock farm them down, so it doesn't really help me all that much. At this point, I'm just going to let the Elekid go down. Aerial Ace will be enough damage to take us out despite being resisted. We're going to come in with the Electabuzz. I'm going to no shield because even if they full send the Frenzy Plant, I will just barely hang on. Essentially, what I was trying to do was just save my shields for my Electivire in the back. I know Electivire is genuinely a very good Pokemon this season, but unfortunately the other 2 Pokemon that we're running together don't really allow me to get shields down, so it's just not that great. We go for the Ice Punch and they're still not shielding, so at this point I'm just going to commit both my shields on my Electivire, hoping maybe I can go for a full Thunder Shock farm down. At this point I'm thinking, actually, you know what, we might as well grab a shield here or just get the KO. The opponent does use their first shield. Again, I'm going to have to shield this up here, and what I should be able to do is go for a full Thunder Shock farm down and then swap into my Electabuzz and hopefully make it to a charge move just before they get the full farm down, and we barely get there in time, but I need to grab the shield. Thunder Punch won't get the KO, and the opponent realizes we've banked the Wild Charge, so they no shield. It doesn't quite get the KO even with the buff to the attack there on that Thunder Punch. It doesn't take up a barrel, and unfortunately we go down to a Surf and we lose that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into next battle, we're going to see a Marsh Stomp of all Pokemon. And I will say I've cut out so many battles where I basically just saw like endless amounts of Mud Boys, which I just could not beat with the team. However, this battle goes slightly better for us as they go for a Surf there. Clearly not running Mud Bomb, which is huge for me because Mud Bomb does cost less energy than Surf, since Surf did of course get nerfed to its energy there. So we are going to see another Surf coming through. At this point, since we've debuffed them, Ice Punch will be enough damage to get the KO, which is very nice. Ice Punch taking out the Marsh Stomp, and they come in with a Skarmory. They then swap into Azumarill. I don't throw on good timing. It doesn't really matter. Wild Charge gets the one shot, and now we can swap into the Electabuzz. And of course, if we go for Thunderbolt, that will get the KO, but I want to see how much damage a Thunder Punch does. It does big damage. We can live anything here. We still got a shield. We're fine, we're just going to no-shield this. Brave Bird does big damage, it gets us deep into the red health range, but I'm able to tank it, go for a Thunder Shock farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's opponent there. Into next battle, we can see Cresselia in the lead, and they're actually on Confusion, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for us. I mean, the team's pretty glassy, so these Confusions are going to chunk, but of course, I mean, it does mean that they get to charge boost a lot slower than usual, so I guess we'll take that. They go for a Grass Knot. Grass Knot does some decent damage there, but I do no shield knowing that Electabuzz is actually the bulkiest Pokemon on this team. We go for a Thunder Punch there. I realized I would still make it to another Thunder Punch, so I'd rather either grab a shield and then still deal some damage. than if I went for a Thunderbolt there and they just shielded it up. But they come in with a Medicham, not ideal, still all shields in place. So I'm going to go for a Brick Break here, very risky, but we do end up grabbing a shield finally, which is very nice. We're now going to shield this and they go for a Power Up Punch. I know it's a Power Up Punch, but honestly, like if they go for Power Up Punch and they take us out before we make it to another Thunder Punch here, then it's just game over. There's nothing we can do. And even now, I'm going to have to shield another Power Up Punch here because Electivire is just not going to tank these counters very well. I farm up as much as I think I can here. So we're going to go for the Wild Charge. Wild Charge gets the KO, but they've got a Carbink in the back. I needed something very weak to the electric typing and also something that had very minimal fast move damage. We got neither there. So unfortunately, they Rock Throw, farm me down, and we do lose that game. But GG to opponent there. Into next battle, you can see a Kingdra in the lead. So here, I'm going to overfarm again, trying to maybe grab a shield here because I know Brick Break really not going to do much damage there, and unfortunately, they do no shield. But I can still shield this. If they don't debuff me, I'm going to stay in, and they don't debuff me. Now we can farm up to back-to-back Thunder Punches. The first one should either grab a shield or get the KO, and it does actually just get the KO. They're now going to come in with a Charm Sylveon, so we're going straight for Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch is going to be no shielded. That does respectable damage. We can now come in with the Electabuzz, and I'm going to go for a Thunder Punch once again. This probably will grab a shield at this point. They still got 2 shields. They're going to start using them, but I'm able to outpace them to the next Thunder Punch, and at this point, I would typically swap out, but I'm actually going to stay in, basically just get off more Thunder Shock damage, so that way I take less charms on the Shadow Electivire, because Electivire, especially in the Shadow form, incredibly lasty. They full sent a Dazzling Gleam, which is massive overkill, but they come in with a Venusaur. Now, how much damage does the Ice Punch do this season? Ice Punch doesn't quite one-shot them, so just for the sake of it, we're going to go for the BM, full send the Wild Charge. Wild Charge gets the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to opponent there. Into next battle, you can see Elekid into Azumarill. So a great lead matchup for us, but the opponent's going to say swap into Charger Bug, and honestly, I don't really know what to do here. I know that Electivire is going to be my best matchup since I do at least have a neutral move. I'm going to go for the Brick Break first because that way an Ice Punch will get the KO, but I was hoping they wouldn't really overfarm by much. Now at this point I'm thinking I kind of just have to stay in and wait for them to throw another charge move. Again, hoping they will throw straight away, but the opponent is always going to overfarm by at least 1 Volt Switch before throwing the charge move, which is very good by the opponent there, by the way, but unfortunately makes it a little bit more awkward for us. Now again, I realize Electivire is going to be my strongest sweeper, so I'm going to save it for the end game. I'm going to throw on the CMP tie as I reach back-to-back Thunder Punches, but maybe I've got myself too low here. Thunder Punch gets the KO, but let's see, the opponent's going to come in with a Dunsparce, so I'm going straight for the Thunderbolt here. Not expecting them to shield the first one, and they do actually let that go through, but we end up throwing on alignment. This is so poor on my end. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have just thrown straight away there. I would have given away 2 free turns, but giving a full fast move in for free is going to be costly, as you're going to see here, as I will reach just barely not back-to-back Ice Punches to get rid of the Dunsparce here. You can see we go for 1, we throw on good timing this time around, but they are 1 fast move away. We are 2 fast moves away. If I threw on better timing, it would be a CMP tie, but unfortunately, because we threw on such poor timing, Drill Run gets the KO, and of course Azumarill can come in, just bubble, farm down the Electabuzz, and unfortunately we do lose that game. So GG Turbo there, I did have a very rough time using this team. A lot of the time I just couldn't find a win condition at all, but there I obviously just misplayed, and unfortunately that's what happens sometimes when you're having a very rough day in the Go Battle League. You just can't find any win condition in the battles where you're just getting hard counted, and then when you finally have a chance to win, you then just throw it away anyways. But into this battle, we're going to see a Charm Clefable in the lead. Going to shield this as they go for a Swift. I'm hoping I can reach a Thunderbolt here before they make it to the next move, and we get there on the CMP tie, and that is huge for me. Thunderbolt will be enough damage to get the KO there, and let's see, the opponent's going to come in with a Slowking, which is a pretty spicy pick here. Again, full sending the Thunderbolt. Of course, Thunder Punch got buffed this season, but Thunderbolt gets the KO, and they've got a Jellicent in the back, and this game is already over, as we can reach another Wild Charge, and Wild Charge, certainly super effective, easily takes out the Jellicent, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to opponent there. Into next battle, we can see a Drapion in the lead. So of course this is a fairly neutral matchup here, and the opponent's going to swap into a Mud Slap Excadrill. This is absolutely awful for me. Hopefully we can at least make it to back-to-back charge moves here, and no, we don't get damage registration error, and you're going to see this happens twice in this battle, and it's just so frustrating. I wouldn't mind if, like, you just never got it, because there would be nothing to complain about. But the fact that this is such an inconsistent mechanic, and the fact that 2 times I could have got it and didn't get it, and this ends up costing me this battle, is just super frustrating. Like, we're in what, like season 21 of the Go Battle League. You can see my Electivire just barely gets that farm down. They're going to come in with Clefable, and it's game over. Even if I do KO this Clefable, Drapion will just be able to go for a full Poison Sting farm down, and there's just nothing I can do. So, of course, Wild Charge number 2 gets the KO, but they come in, 2 Poison Stings, takes us out, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG to opponent there into possibly the final battle of this video. Yes, a very short one, at least by my standards. But we're going to see another Clefable. This time they are leading with it, and they are running the Fairy Wind fast move, not Charm. We're going to go for back-to-back Thunder Punches here. They will just barely outpace me, so I think that was a CMP tie. So I should just barely live this. So the opponent goes for a Swift, and we actually force another CMP tie, which actually shouldn't be the case. So this time I'm the one benefiting from an inconsistency, and as a result we get a simultaneous KO. I mean, it doesn't really help me too much because we've got 2 of the same Pokemon in the back, but we're going to come in with the Electabuzz. They come in with more Pekko, so I'm going to no-shield the first move. Even if they go for an Aura Wheel here, it is the electric typing. It does big damage, but we don't have to shield it. And now I'm going to go for a Thunder Punch. Maybe should have just gone for a Thunderbolt here, as the opponent no shields. A Thunderbolt probably would have put them into fast speed farm down range, but either way, going to go and fire off another Thunder Punch there, grab the shield, then swap into the Electivire. And the opponent goes for Aura Wheel once again, so possibly not even running Psyche Fangs. I'm not really sure, otherwise I feel like that's just a very easy bait for them. But either way, they full send the Aura Wheel once again. I'm committing to the farm down. The opponent realizes they're getting farm down, so they swap into a Shadow Machamp, but I've got back-to-back Wild Charges. First one grabs the final shield. The second one easily gets the one-shot up against the Machamp. They come back in with more Pekko. We get the Thunder Shock farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.